Good evening. This is CTV News for Monday, April 3rd. I'm Denise Douglas. So glad you could join us. U.S. Senator Ben Cardin talks immigration policy with members of the Latino community. The event was hosted by CASA in Hyattsville. The senator listened to their concerns. He says he hopes to calm fears swirling around immigrant populations regarding deportation initiatives coming from the White House.
This is a federal issue. A federal issue. Law enforcement at the local level should have no place here. This is a federal issue. So I applaud those jurisdictions that are trying to say, look, we will not be part of what Mr. Trump is trying to do. And I regret that some of our jurisdictions are taking the opposite tact. So I've expressed myself on this, and we will continue to do that. I know the General Assembly is still struggling with legislation, which has already been significantly minimized as to its effectiveness. We need to speak with a strong voice.
Well, we want Congress to stop funding the wall. We want Congress to tell the Justice Department to not enforce the way it's been enforcing. We want basically Trump to take everything that he's done on immigration back and put forward some common sense immigration reform that everybody can get behind.
CASA also announced the upcoming Immigrants and Workers March. It's scheduled for May 1st in D.C. Meantime, the state lawmakers in Annapolis held a news conference to express their support for the Trust Act. Under the measure, local and state law enforcement officials will not be allowed to use public resources to detain or arrest someone for immigration purposes. U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions says the legislation puts Americans at risk. The bill's sponsor in the Maryland Senate, Victor Ramirez, says that's not true and is calling on his colleagues to pass the measure.
What we don't want is people being afraid to call on law enforcement. What we don't want is victims being afraid to call law enforcement, and also witnesses being afraid to call law enforcement. I think we have to be very careful when we start seeing that there's this anti-immigrant movement, because I think immigrants, all immigrants, and even all communities start taking a backseat where, why should I trust the law enforcement if they're going to come in here? It may not be me, but it may be someone I know if they start asking questions about people's immigration status.
Now, that bill has already passed the House. The neonatal intensive care unit at Prince George's County Hospital reopens today. The unit had to shut down in August and again in November of last year after Pseudomonas was detected in the water supply. I should say detected. The NICU has been closed since then. Safety officials say tests conducted for 19 straight weeks have come back negative for the bacterium. Pseudomonas is a pathogen found in the environment that can be extremely harmful to newborns. Health experts say it can be transmitted through human skin, breast milk, and devices such as breast pumps and incubators. Discussion over county council members' use of government-issued vehicles continues in Upper Marlboro. The review board held its third public meeting today. The group was set up after Democrat Mel Franklin was charged with driving under the influence in a county car.
What we're doing at this stage of the process is getting information from the various agencies and their policies, and after we collect a lot of data, then we will sit and make recommendations for the council.
The panel is set to submit its recommendation by June 30th.